Honestly, I don't think anyone would have guessed that this week's chapter would have been a Seki. I mean, I didn't guess it. I thought it would be all about fighting Lucifero, but no, it is primarily about Seki and his regrets. So Seki looks at and knows that there's a huge power gap, but he comes up with a simple excuse. Well, was born royalty, therefore he was born special, and there's no way I could ever keep up with him. He then also blames the king for having to get him involved in this war at all, and he blames Asta for basically making him feel like he's a loser. His entire life, he apparently compared himself to the people around him in his small village, and apparently he was the strongest magic user, so he thought, I was the best. But then when Asta one-shotted him and he ended up in the green praying mantis, he basically was just angry at the entire world, basically saying that it was unfair and it was unjust. So, teleports Asta and Mimosa over to Seki. I don't think he even noticed him. He just got them out of the way of Lucifero trying to kill Asta. So, and, went on to the fight against Lucifero while Mariona decided to get involved because she's still going, and apparently she's getting stronger as she's continuing to fight, which makes perfect sense. She is a wild animal. But like I said, this is a Seki chapter, so back to Seki. While Mimosa, and he's finally able to stand because of Yuno's power. It's creating basically a magical sphere around them. So Mimosa and Sekke can move. She's trying to heal Asta, and Seki's like, "Why don't you run away with me? Come, I was chosen by the king himself." He's basically still talking himself up, even though he's accomplished nothing. And Mimosa basically tells him to shut up and go away. And inside of her head, she's desperate to save Asta. She doesn't want him to keep fighting, but she knows that's not what Asta wants. Asta wants to keep fighting. So even though she wants to run away with Asta, she's just going to heal him with everything she has so he can go back to the fight. Unfortunately, she's basically out of magic. Seki starts to remember all the time basically spent with Asta over the years, just continuing to remember, basically blame Asta for all of his suffering and pain and just utter jealousy. And at a certain point, Asta just stands up, and Mimosa wasn't able to heal him, but Asta's still going. Mimosa's in tears, unable to say a word to him, but in her head she's begging him to stop, begging him to you can't go. Seki then says, "You're still a wreck. You can't go out there. Even the captains were beaten. You have no magic. You can't fight the way you are right now. You need to stop." Asta refuses. He continues to march forwards, ready to fight against Lucifero. Seki then just starts to think just how much his life would have been if Asta wasn't around, but then he slowly begins to just realize, no, it has nothing to do with Asta. The problem was that it was him. In the end, he just didn't train. He never tried to become stronger. And he finally admits to himself that if he just trained and if he just tried at anything, at being a magic knight, he could have been like Asta. He could have accomplished great things like Asta. And the final page is just Asta, just still in a wreck, unable to be healed, just about to kill over, but still marching on over to fight. And Sekke is just desperate to do the same. I don't think Sekke is going to fight, obviously, but I do think he's going to hand over basically all of his magic to Mimosa so Asta can be healed. Because there's no way Asta can fight like this. He is on death's door. Like it amazes me that he's even conscious. Like his eyes are basically blacked out at this point. So yeah, I think Sekke is going to just hand over all of his magic power over to Mimosa. Basically pass out because of this, because he's going to burn through all of his magic. Mimosa's going to heal Asta, and then the fight will continue. But if that's what happens, that would mean that... But what that means is that, in the end, Seki was vital in saving the entire world. Which I'm perfectly okay with, because while up to this point, he basically just faked all of his accomplishments. If he actually does this, at this point, he realized that he fucked up along the way, and it was his fault. He's not anything special. So if he actually does this, actually does help save Asta, that will be a great boon. I like that. That's actually I would 100% like that for Seki's story. His story ending that way would be fantastic. I don't mean he's gonna die though. Sekirai's not gonna die, but I'm just saying that would be a great way to go all the way around, or being an arrogant prick to finally realizing that he could have been greater, and then putting everything he has on the line to save Asta. That would be fantastic. I really hope that happens next week. Okay. If you like this, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, even some comments below also. So this way you can get more Black Clover and other anime things. Thank you and have a great day.